Ibinunyag ni House Prosecutor Laila de Lima na naghain na sila ng manifestation sa Senate Impeachment Court para payagan ang pagbubukas ng silyadong kahon ng Bureau of Internal Revenue na naglalaman ng tax returns ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Sa panayam kay dating kalihim ng katarungan at kasalukuyang kinatawan ng mamamayang liberal or ML party list na si Laila de Lima sa Senado, sinabi nitong inihiri nila ang pagbubukas ng kahon upang mapatatakan bilang ebidensya ang mga dokumento na laman ng naturang kahon at maisama sa pre-trial conference. Ipinaliwanag ni de Lima ang mga pagbubukas ng mga records sa buwis ni Vice Presidente Sara Duterte. Sa panahon ng pre-trial ay makakatulong upang mapabilis ang kanyang impeachment trial sa Senado na nakatakdang magsimula sa July 6. Kakailanganin muna anya ng clearance si Senate Secretary at Clerk of Court Renato Bantog Jr. mula sa impeachment court. Sinabi niya na maaaring humingi ng pahintulot si Bantog mula sa hukuman o sa namumunong opisyal nito upang mabuksan ang silyadong kahon ng BIR. Binigyang diin niya na kung sa panahon pa ng paglilitis bubuksan ang kahon, magagamit nito ang ilan sa oras ng hukuman. Bukod dito, kabilang sa manifestation ng prosecution team ang paglahok ng public and private prosecutors sa examination ng mga testigo, pagtatakda ng 3 araw na notice bago ang presentasyon ng karagdagang witnesses at paggamit ng wikang Filipino at English sa paglilitis kay Duterte. Samantala, inihayag din ng kongresista na bumibilis na ang pre-marking ng mga ebidensya sa pre-trial conference. 6 na kasi ang marking stations at na-adjust na ang oras ng trabaho sa alas 9 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi mula sa alas 5 ng hapon.
Good morning. Alam po natin na pang-apat na araw na po ito ng pre-marking of exhibits at mukha pong mapapabilis na po ng konti dahil nagdagdag na po ng marking teams. From just 4 during the first 3 days, 3 for Article 1 and 1 team for Article 2, naging 6 na po ngayon. So merong dagdag na tig-isa yung for both articles. So 4 marking teams for Article 1 and 2 marking teams for Article 2. So medyo binibilisan na po at nagdagdag sila ng working hours from originally from 9 to 5, ginawa na po nilang from 9 to 7. And I was observing them because I've been present since the start of the pre-trial conference kanina, na napapabilis na po talaga yung proseso, although there are still really a lot of exhibits, particularly for Article 1. And then another thing that I wish to announce is that today the prosecution just filed a manifestation with a proposal on certain pre-trial matters. 4 pong bagay yung hinihingi namin dyan sa manifestation na yan, nakaka-file lang po ngayong umaga. I understand, I was informed that it was filed this morning. I thought it was filed yesterday. Yung una po is that humihingi kami ng agreement na kung pwede during the trial stage, during the presentation of witnesses, direct examination, cross-examination, or redirect examination ay gumamit ng either or both Filipino and English languages. Para mas malinaw, para mas maintindihan, it's a very public proceedings, it's a public trial, and therefore mas maganda kung mas marami nakakaintindi. So it would help kung from time to time ay gumagamit po ng Filipino language na mas simple at mas maintindihan ng mga nanonood at nakikinig. Pangalawa po ay humihingi rin po ang humihingi po yung prosecution din na yung tungkol sa presentation of or the participation of both public and private prosecutors pagdating sa pag-examine at pag-present ng mga witnesses. So at least 1 public prosecutor, 1 private prosecutor ang pwede na mag-present ng isang witness para kasi meron hong mga bagay, meron hong mga issues, meron hong mga testigo na ang coverage medyo expansive and therefore ay baka baka hatiin po yung coverage ng testimony by a public prosecutor or a private prosecutor. Pwede ring isa lang na public prosecutor o pwedeng isa lang na private prosecutor yung mag-present ng witness. Pero at least two, para one public prosecutor and one private prosecutor ang naka-assign sa pag-present ng isang witness. Number 3 is that yung tungkol naman sa reciprocal 3-day disclosure rule. Not these 3 days before a presentation of a particular witness, I may notify the other party. Gusto ko pong linawin na itong requirement na ito, itong proposal na ito, ay actually hiling po yan ng defense. Hindi po yan hiling ng prosecution. Kasi sa tingin po namin ay nandyan naman, alam na nila kung sino yung mga witnesses namin, alam na nila kung ano yung mga ebidensya, nandyan yan sa pre-trial brief. But para lang hindi magkaroon ng mga procedural arguments o mga procedural technicalities na i-insist nila na kailangan walang surprises, ay pumapayag kami na ganun na nga. At least 3 days before the presentation of a witness or witnesses, ay kailangan ay ma-notify yung the other party. But again, I stress that hindi po yan nanggaling sa amin, sa prosecution, kasi hindi na po namin kailangan ng notice kapag merong mga ipipresent ng mga witnesses. And yung mga dokumento, nandyan na, pre-mark na, alam na nila. And mula pa lang sa pre-trial brief, nandyan na. So there can be no questions about, well, it's a surprise witness, we're being ambushed here by a surprise witness. Pero yun na nga, para wala nang mga ganong usapan that could further delay the proceedings, pumayag po kami, and I'm sure dyan sa manifestation namin, wala silang objection tungkol dyan. The fourth matter, the last matter which is the subject of that manifestation is the opening of the sealed BIR box. Remember, na doon sa proceedings before the Committee on Justice noon, pinagpasyahan ng majority of the members of the Justice Committee na huwag na munang buksan yung box na present o dinala ng BIR in compliance with the subpoena issued by the committee. Kasi there were questions about whether pwede, kasi nga yung mga non-disclosure provisions sa National Internal Revenue Code, although there's of course divergence of opinion there. Ako mismo, I was insisting already on the opening of that BIR box, but the majority decided otherwise. So that was transmitted, that particular BIR box was transmitted to the Senate na nakaseal, na hindi pa yun nakita ng members of the Justice Committee. So since we are in the marking of exhibits, this is the proper stage na kailangan na rin siguro buksan yan para magkaroon na ng inventory of the contents of that particular BIR box. So sa tingin namin, that would aid also in more efficient and more expeditious conduct of trial kung mabuksan na rin yan ngayon during the stage ng pre-trial. So those were the subject matters of the manifestation that was filed today, this morning, by the prosecution.
Ma'am, ibig sabihin yung fourth, pwedeng si Senate Secretary Bantog yung
I think the Senate Secretary has to get the clearance from the court, or at least from the presiding officer, tungkol dyan sa sealed BIR box. Kasi kung hindi gagawin ngayon, saka lang sa trial pabubuksan. And then saka lang sa trial, ipi-pre-mark kung gagamitin as evidence by either or both parties. So mas maigi na anyway, ongoing pa naman yung marking dito sa pre-trial, ay makahabol yung pagbukas ng BIR box na yan, yung sealed BIR box, para malaman na, ma-inventory na yung kanyang mga laman.
Ma'am, pwede daw ba yung i-decide ni Senate President at Senate, or kailangan mo?
We will leave it up to them how they were going to resolve that matter. Although I'm sure na yung manifestation na yan, that would still be referred, or the defense would still have the right to respond or to comment on the manifestation that we filed. Kasi kailangan meron din agreement on their part dito sa apat na matters na ito. Although as I said, yung third matter ay galing sa kanila yan. Yung tungkol dun sa three-day notice or disclosure of the intended witnesses at least 3 days before the scheduled hearing for that particular witness or witnesses.
Ma'am, with the extension po ng oras, 9 to 7 na yung
Yes.
kaya na po matapos yung pre-trial?
Matapos today,
Today or tomorrow?
tomorrow. Well, today, umaasa kami, hopefully, dun sa Article 2, unexplained wealth, because hindi naman ganun ka-voluminous compared with the documents devoted for Article 1, ay baka today or even tomorrow. Now, yung confidential funds pa rin ang problema, kasi nga talagang voluminous. Ngayon nga sa pag-iikot ko, dun sa mga tables, may ilan yung I think at least two of the tables devoted, or two of the marking teams devoted for Article 1, yung mga acknowledgement receipts pa rin ng mga alleged payees ng confidential funds, ang mga iniisa-isa na mga minamarkahan. At yung ano kasi, and I think that is something that was insisted also by the defense, ay bukod sa pirma mismo nung pinaka-clerk in charge nung team, nung table, o ng marking team, ay magkaroon ng kina-countersign pa by both parties, by representatives or lawyers of both parties. So nakakaano rin yan ng konti, yung nakakahaba rin ng proseso.
Sen, yung sa balikan ko na po yung sa box of sealed records, to clarify, you want it open ngayong pre-trial po?
Yes, if possible. If feasible, if possible, kung makahabol pa, bago matapos talaga yung pre-trial at bago mag-issue ng pre-trial order, para makita na, para tapos na, para malaman na rin ng both parties kung gagamitin nila yung mga contents, yung mga documents na nandyan sa box na yan ng BIR. That is in relation to unexplained wealth, Article 2.
How would it be faster if ngayong pre-trial conference yung box compared sa mismo trial?
Oh yes, of course. Kasi pag sa impeachment trials, bukod sa pagbubukas, and then titingnan at pagmamarkahan pa, is iisa-isahin pa yan. So I don't know how much time would it take, depende kung gaano karami yung laman nun, ano ang mga laman talaga ng BIR box na yan, yung mga tax records.
Ma'am, any idea na kung naman talaga na?
Well, it's supposed to be tax records because it's from the BIR. It's in relation to the issue of unexplained wealth. Yung taxable income pa na income ba na dinideclare doon sa mga tax records ay ano ba yon, ay makakasupport ba nung claim namin na yung hindi na ilagay sa SALN, and then manifestly disproportionate to the income or to the lawful income and earnings of the respondent and her spouse.
Pero safe to say, ma'am, pabigat na ebidensya talaga yan laban sa
We cannot be commenting on that at this point because it has to do with the merits of the case. We cannot be commenting at this point on the admissibility and on the probative value and weight. So your question, sir, has to do with the issue of probative value.
So, written authority po dapat from the presiding officer?
We leave it up to them. We leave it to the secretary, to the clerk of the court, Attorney Bantug, to take action on that as to referral to the presiding officer and whether to be referred still to the impeachment court.
Ma'am, regarding sa surprise witness or evidence, kung hindi po ba itong ni-request ng defense, so sa trial, wala na supposedly surprise or reserve evidence or witnesses?
Meron pa rin reserve witness, pero yun talaga, yung reserve witness, syempre, i-disclose mo yun bago mo i-present. But most of this evidence, the witnesses and the documentary, are there already in the pre-trial brief. Kaya walang pwede magsasabi na masusurprise sila. Bakit hinihingi yan? Para makapag-prepare. Di umano. sa pag-present, let's say sa pag-cross ng particular witness, no? Pero kung alam mo na kasi na isa siya talaga sa mga intended witnesses because it's there in the pretrial brief and it will be reflected also in the pretrial order. So bakit kailangan pa ng disclosure notice, na disclosure on the of the witnesses or evidence to be presented on a particular scheduled hearing?
Ang House Prosec po ba meron ding surprise witnesses or evidence na or reserve na hindi pa dinidisclose?
We cannot comment on that at this point.
Ma'am, yung one of the defense lawyers mentioned na hindi naman daw po nagsistay yung mga House prosecutors dun sa pre-trial. Your Honor,
I'm here.
Ano po ba ang
I'm here.
proseso? Ang sabi po kasi nila parang hindi daw, parang from start to end ay nandun yung mga House prosecutors.
We're here. We made sure naman na from day one ay may natitira na House prosecutor and then ngayon na fourth day at least one prosecutor. Ako nga ang naka-assign this morning and another prosecutor si Representative Chel Jokno. This afternoon naman siya naka-assign. So tomorrow another prosecutor or prosecutors, public prosecutor or prosecutors will be here to supervise because indeed the private prosecutors are under the direct control and supervision of the public prosecutors. Pero hindi naman tama yung sinasabi, o bakit wala sila, o bakit umaalis ka agad and all that. I think it's uncalled for because we're here. We make sure na mayroong public prosecutor na naka-assign. Yesterday, it was Prosecutor Representative Terry Ridon. Yesterday. And then that was yesterday afternoon. Yesterday morning, kaming tatlo. Nila lead prosecutor Jinky Luistro and Representative Bel Zamora. That was in the morning. So meron naman talaga lagi na public prosecutor na naiiwan dito o pumupunta dito to supervise the work and to observe what's happening in the marking.
Ma'am, formally requested na rin po ba yung extension ng pre-trial?
No, there is no announcement yet about that. There is no request yet from any party, as far as I know. So pag-uusapan din namin yan because so far it's supposed to be up to 2025. Up to tomorrow, and that's why nag-endeavor yung teams na matapos within tomorrow, but I'm not sure about the confidential funds kung kakayanin up to tomorrow. Let's see, lalo nang na-extend naman yung working hours up to 7 o'clock.
Ma'am, meron na po malayo yung pag-marking of evidence, yung progress so far, kahit percentage or...
Siguro more than 50% na yan. And then yung, at mas mas marami na of course yung sa unexplained wealth. As I said, baka nga, we're hoping na yung sa unexplained wealth matapos within the day or up to tomorrow at the latest, yung sa unexplained wealth. Now yung confidential funds, we are hoping na matatapos within tomorrow. So let's see, maybe tomorrow magkakadesisyon, magde-decide kung kailangan ng additional dates of pre-trial. Kung hindi pa rin matapos yung sa confidential funds. Thank you so much.
Sorry, kung mag-extend lang po until Friday or Saturday, paano po yung impact nito sa July 6 trial na?
Hindi naman siguro yan maantala July 6 because even if what is stated in the guidelines on the conduct of pre-trial is that pre-trial orders is to be issued within 10 days from completion or from conclusion of the pre-trial, hindi naman kailangan i-exhaust yung 10-day period for the impeachment court through the presiding officer to issue pre-trial order. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, maraming salamat po muli sa lahat ng mga narito para subaybayan ang mga proseso ng pananagutan, lalo na dito sa impeachment trial kay VP Sara Duterte. Now, we are gladdened that meron nga pong update sa pre-trial, no, and ongoing po siya habang nagmamark continuously ng evidence ngayon ang private prosecutors with the defense team. We note, however, that Vice President Sara Duterte was not personally present during the pre-trial conference, despite earlier statements that she expressed readiness and willingness to face the charges at the proper court. And in her many submissions, she said that it would be at the impeachment court, which is supposedly starting the process today, no, for the pretrial conference. Instead, she was represented by legal counsel who appeared and acted on her behalf before the impeachment court. Nevertheless, the prosecution remains ready, focused on the process, and will continue to comply fully with all the directives of the impeachment court as the case moves forward. So nakita po natin na itong proseso na to nagsimula, tutuloy-tuloy po natin to hanggang matapos, no? Na ayon sa due process principles, sa rules ng Senate, and even the Constitution.
Thank you, Sir Ramon. We will take the first question from Haji Camino Plegada.
Hello po, good afternoon po, Kongs. Doon po sa pre-trial brief, of course, na-review na po ninyo no, yung nilalaman ng pre-trial brief ng kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Now, ang question po is, nakita po ninyo na yun nga po yung sa witnesses na parang ang gusto lang ay sirain yung credibility ng mga witnesses na ipipresent ng prosecution. Kayo po ba umaasa na somehow pagdating ng trial ipapakilala or i-explain ng company VP yung mga nasa acknowledgement receipts, like for example si Mary Grace Piatos po?
Well, una, babalikan nga natin yung kanilang pre-trial brief, no? Kaya sinasabi natin it's less in substance, it's voluminous, medyo makapal, pero kung titingnan mo, wala talaga siyang substantive na controverting evidence. It's purely general denial, and basically ang nakasasaad doon sa kanilang pre-trial brief ay pagko-question mismo ng proseso, which basically it's what the narrative of the defense from the very start, no? Wala silang naipresenta na substantive controverting evidence na explaining kung bakit itong allegation na to ay dito na kumbaga hindi siya tama, apart from denying it, but explaining. Una, ang tanong ng gusto ng malaman ng taong bayan, saan napunta yung pera pagdating sa pag-utilize ng confidential funds? Ano yung explanation doon sa mga hindi may paliwanag na pera at property sa kanyang salin, na hindi tugma doon sa kanyang income, at the same time, hindi nagre-reflect sa kanyang salin? Ano nga kanilang may paliwanag doon sa mga sinasabing nakatanggap ng mga pera or na sa mga bribery, no, doon sa mga aligasyon na itong mga officials na to nung siya ay nakaupong secretary ng Department of Education ay nakatanggap ng mga pera. So these are the questions that I think not only the court deserves to know an explanation, but even the general public. So wala doon hindi doon naka-narrate. It's more on pure denial or general denial, and even questioning the process, which in this case parang hindi na siya kumbaga hindi na siya right way of attacking the evidence of the prosecution, because it has already been resolved. The court has already convened as an impeachment court. I mean, the Senate has already convened as an impeachment court. Maganda sana kung meron silang maipapresenta na mga witnesses na magpapatunay kumbaga na sila si Cocoy Villamin, sila si Mary Grace Piatos. Pero yun nga gusto nating malaman, kung meron silang pwedeng mai-produce na mga witnesses na sasabihin sila mismo yung pumirma doon. Pero remember, kung babalikan po natin yung naging investigation ng Good Government nung nakaraang kongreso, halimbawa si Cocoy Villamin ay pumirma ng 2 acknowledgement receipts sa magkaibang lugar, pareho yung kanilang pangalan, pero hindi tugma yung kanilang pirma. So these are supposedly the questions that the public and the Senate at sitting on the impeachment court deserve clarification. Eh wala doon, hindi natin nakita sa kanilang pre-trial brief.
Kung mari lang po magdagdag din doon. The pre-trial brief sets the tone on how the defense will structure its answers. So kung tunog lata na ang pre-trial brief, what more can we expect during the trial proper? No. Tama nga po yung nakalagay no na it's just mere denials at ang basis for the summoning of witnesses or even presenting documentary evidence is a general to rebut the allegations in the articles of impeachment. Wala pong pagdedetalye kung bakit po ini-introduce yung evidence na to, kung bakit ini-introduce yung witness na to. Kung ako po, possibly judge or even law school professor, no, i-check ko yan, no, i-correct ko yung ganong klaseng format. So sa atin, this is clearly hindi na naman pagseseryoso sa proseso. Kasi kung sineseryoso yung proseso, dapat binibigay na yung mga sagot na matagal lang hinihingi ng taong bayan. Which is, sino nga ba si Mary Grace Piatos? How do you provide evidence to controvert or contradict yung certification ng PSA na sa records nila, walang Mary Grace Piatos? No other than ipakita nyo kung sino siya. Kung wala pong ganon na makita tayo sa pre-trial brief, baka hindi natin makita ito sa mismong trial proper. So, nonetheless, both parties reserve the right to submit further evidence as necessary. Pero, supposedly, nilatag na po yan lahat during the pre-trial briefs and the pre-trial conference. Wala tayong nakitang ganon. So, kailangan na pong maging mas mapagmatsyag at masiyasat yung taong bayan sa mga magiging sagot sa trial proper.
Just to clarify lang po, is the Vice President required to attend the pre-trial conference? Kung hindi man po, ano yung significance ng pagdalusanan niya doon personally sa pre-trial conference po?
Ayon sa rules, the party and or their authorized representative is required to attend the pre-trial conference. At meron pong certification or SPA na nilabas yung kanyang defense team that yung Fortuna Narvasa is authorized to appear on her behalf. That being said, the people are expecting VP Sara Duterte to show up in the pre-trial conference and even on the days that the trial proper will continue. Bakit po? Ito po'y dahil ilang taon na pong hindi nasasagot yung mga tanong ng taong bayan. And any further evasion is going to be another day, another week, another year of denial of justice. Ayaw na natin ng ganon.
Well, unang-una, it speaks about how serious she is in facing these allegations. The presence is important Although nandun naman sa Senate rules na hindi naman kinakailangan, But in the regular court proceedings, talagang kinakailangan yung respondent na umappear, why? Because number one, ito ang isa sa it will be an historic impeachment trial. Nowhere in the Philippine history have we experienced na the second highest official in the land faces serious allegations, culpable violations of the Constitution which constitute impeachable offense. If that is so serious to her, I believe it speaks about leadership and the character and the office that she represents. I think it would be proper and would be more attuned to the demand of the people that she appears in the pre-trial conference to display her seriousness and her attempt really to face the charges and also to show na wala siyang tinatago at wala siyang kinakatakutan. This is a direct opposite of what we have heard in the previous months, that she will appear in the proper forum, which now is the impeachment court, and she even intimated to the public that there will be bloodbath. No? So it's the exact opposite of what we are seeing right now. Para sa amin, para sa taong bayan, mas magiging tapat yung kanyang sinasabi na wala siyang kasalanan kung may pakita niya na siya mismo ang humarap sa impeachment court. In this case, in the pre-trial court.
Last na lang po, on my part, lilihis lang ako ng topic. Nag-post po sa social media si Davao City Congressman Paulo Duterte. Nakatanggap daw po siya ng info from highly reliable source na maglalabas daw po ng arrest warrant against Senator Bongo. Ang binabanggit po niya parang ang dating ay wala na raw pong katapusan ang pag-atake doon sa mga kumukontra po sa administrasyon ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at ginagamit daw po ng administration ang lahat ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno against those personalities na kumukontra nga po sa gobyerno. Ano pong may reaction po ba kayo?
Number one, we cannot comment on something that we are not privy to. Secondly, we don't have any knowledge about the issuance of arrest warrant. But what I can tell you, is that the internal judicial ruling or proceedings of the ICC, insofar as the release of arrest warrants, is beyond the dictation of this government or any government for that matter. So wala pong kapangyarihan ang gobyernong ito o impluwensya ang gobyernong ito para diktahan ang International Criminal Court patungkol sa pagre-release ng arrest warrant kanino man.
Wala naman pong additional dagdag spiritually dahil na-cover na po ni Representative Zia Adyong. I'd just like to reiterate that these processes, international human rights law, international humanitarian law, lahat po ng general principles of international law, hindi naman po ito sa Pilipinas lang inaasahan, sa buong mundo, sa lahat ng mga sangkatauhan para po maprotektahan tayo. Kung meron nga pong ganung violations, sila po ang mas mga makakataas na nagpoproseso po nito. So, these are beyond yung simple control or influences of one government.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Haji. Next is Earl Tobias from IBC 13.
Good afternoon po, spokespersons. Ma'am, first po kay spokesperson ko. Ma'am, you said it seems that the VP defense team is making a mockery out of the pre-trial procedures. Bakit nyo po ito nasabi sa inyong text statement? Ano po ba ang gestures ng defense team towards the procedures habang papalapit yung trial?
Nakita natin sa pre-trial brief that yung supposed independent defenses na inasahan natin sa isang answer ay hindi po present. And yung evidence, yung witnesses na gustong i-present na dapat susuporta sa contravening evidence or evidence rebutting kung ano man yung allegations sa articles of impeachment, wala na naman po. Kung at every stage, questionin po ni VP Sara Duterte and her legal team yung authority and kapangyarihan ng mga iba't ibang ahensya to conduct investigations to valid questions of the people regarding her leadership, regarding her handling of public funds, and regarding the propriety of her occupying the office that she is in. Ano pong avenue meron tayo to hold to account our public officials? Kaya po mahalaga yung mga sagot. Kung wala pong sagot, edi ito'y pong inhustisya sa mamamayan.
Ma'am, follow up, asking straight lang po, anong tamang terms sa ginagawa nila? Minamaliit po ba or iniinsulto nila yung proseso?
for me, hindi nila sineseryoso ang proseso. Para seryosohin yung proseso, we are looking for independent affirmative defenses. Ibig sabihin po, yung mga sagot na talaga pong nagre-respond sa mga tanong, sa mga alegasyon. Hindi yung simpleng sasabihin yung, hindi po yan totoo, pero hindi po magpo-provide ng counter-answer kung bakit hindi yung totoo. No, ganun naman din po kahit anong usapin between two people. When you rebut something, may inaasahan kang totoong rebuttal and hindi yung blanket denial lang. Yun po yung gusto nating makita not only during this pre-trial brief pero during the trial proper as well.
Thank you, ma'am. For spokes
Dadagdag ko lang, no, Earl, no? Ito yung pagkakataon nila na sinasabi, madalas nilang sinasabi, even during the confirmation hearings ng Committee on Justice, na they will answer at the right proper forum. Ito na yun eh. So, lahat po ng taong bayan, inaantay sana kung anong magiging kasagutan nila eh. We are all excited to know, and from the defense, their explanations. Number one, what happened to the confidential funds? How were they able to utilize this? Which according to COA, na-flag nila as hindi, it's outside of the joint memorandum. There are, the way that the fund was utilized was beyond or violative of the joint circular. So what the public wants to hear from the defense, from the Vice President, is an explanation. Ano pa yung nakita natin? Wala. It's more on general denial, bordering to questioning the very process that the pre-trial impeachment conference is now doing, no? So ito na sana yung pagkakataon nila eh. Why waste it, no? Why waste it? Dalawa lang ang sa akin, ang aking observation that I can only derive for someone or some party who cannot even provide a explicit and direct to the point explanation to these allegations after more than a year. Wala talaga silang may sagot. Or iniiwasan nilang sumagot. At the end of the day, sabi nga ni Kong Rene, if you don't give at least respect to the court by explaining to the court what really happened as you are supposed to do, then the explanation is either you are not serious or talagang feeling mo lang talaga you don't owe any people any explanation.
Thank you, sir. Kasi yun po sana yung susunod kong tanong. Nagtutugma po ba yung observation nyo na yun given na ang ultimate prayer lang din ng defense team ay ibasura ang kaso at hindi harapin sa trial mismo?
It speaks about how they think that they are way beyond the reach of the law eh. It also speaks about the kind of mindset that I'm sorry to say that the Vice President feels na she is this is an act of someone who thinks that she's beyond reproach, no? Kaya nga sa parati natin sinasabi, this impeachment proceeding is about accountability. It's about the accountability mechanism of the Constitution, that no one should be above the law. That if it is applied to any person or any impeachable officer, it should apply to the Vice President. Unfortunately, there are serious charges labeled against her. So this is the perfect time for her defense to come up with a specific substantive contravening arguments and evidence to not only to deny the allegation but to explain to the court and to the people what happened to the confidential funds. Why is there why is the SALN not reflective based on her income, no? Kaya nga may unexplained wealth eh. These are the things that should be explained to the public. At the end of the day, ang gustong malaman ng publiko ay meron ba talagang pananagutan ang Vice Presidente? Kung wala naman, madali naman talagang mag-supply ng sagot dyan eh. Kung meron ka talagang sagot.
Dagdag lang din po doon sa specific question on the prayer for dismissal, no? Let me just reiterate na wala po yung basihan sa Constitution. Wala po sa hulog yung ganong prayer. Ito po ay dahil ang inaasahan natin under the Constitution na kapag meron na pong articles of impeachment endorsed to the Senate, magta-trial, no? magkakaroon ng full-blown trial wherein the prosecution and the defense will present their evidence, no, will have the opportunity to cross-examine their witnesses, and sa dulo, pagtapos po ng lahat na yon, magdedesisyon yung Senado, no, kung whether conviction or acquittal. Wala po sa rules ang dismissal. So, muli, nire-reiterate natin kung seryoso si VP Sara Duterte and her legal defense team doon sa pagsagot sa mga tanong ng mamamayan, no, na dahil years na pinrolong yung pagsagot ay ganito na kalaki, kailangan pong sagutin niya ng maayos and in the proper forum that the Vice President has always sought and emphasized she will do, which is right now, and syempre sa July 6, sa pagsisimula ng trial proper.
Thank you, Earl. May we hear now from Rose Cas of UNTV.
Good afternoon po, Kongs. May we know po kung ano-ano po yung mga point of contentions kanina sa pre-trial conference between the defense and the prosecution teams?
Okay. So, right now, dahil ongoing pa yung pre-trial, hindi natin fully madidisclose ang lahat. But, ang isang remarkable ay merong proposed stipulations ang both parties. Ito naman po ay inaasahan at nakalagay sa pre-trial brief at inaasahang magkakataluhan sa pre-trial conference. So, for now, despite na merong disagreement sa kung ano dapat yung proposed stipulations, pinag-submit na lang po ng comment yung both parties as to their proposed stipulations. Yun pa lang po yung alam natin.
Po, hanggang today lang po yung pre-trial conference kasi dun sa nakarating pong schedule sa amin, 18 to 25.
Sa palagay, yes, you want to answer that?
Ganyan na po.
Sa palagay ko po, based on dun na notice na natanggap po ng House Prosecution Team, hanggang 25 po. So we expect that it will not end today, but we will expect the continuance of the pre-trial conference up to the date which the Honorable Court has set, no? Which is, I guess, kung di ako nagkakamali, is June 25th, no?
So, starting from tomorrow hanggang 25, ang haharap pa rin po doon yung mga public prosecutors?
Well, that ngayon po ay ang nandoon na po sa ongoing din po yung markings nila of exhibits. So, ang mga private prosecutor, this is just a ministerial or mechanical lang na trabaho kasi basically, ang ipipresent, ma-mark lang naman yung mga ebidensya. And so we would like to learn from of course from the House Prosecution Team if the court requires the attendance of our public prosecutor. Anyway, at the end of the day, ang ating House Prosecution Team, both the private and the public prosecutors, would comply for whatever the directive of the Honorable Court.
Pero ano po ang directive ng public prosecutors sa private prosecutors, if any?
So far ngayon po ay to assist in the marking of evidence. Yun naman din po yung reason kung bakit perhaps hindi po matatapos today yung pre-trial dahil po voluminous yung evidence that is both presented by the prosecution and the defense. So, dahil masalimuot yung proseso na yun, nakaantabay at syempre nakatutok yung public prosecutors sa ginagawa ng private prosecutors with the defense team no, na marking of evidences.
Okay po. Kanina po nabanggit po ni Congresswoman Ko na wala pong inilatag na ebidensya ang defense team para po pabulaanan ang existence para pabulaanan yung fictitious Mary Grace Piatos. Tama po ba?
Yung nakikita natin so far ay yun yung general trend sa lahat ng mga allegations, even this one.
Dadagdag ko lang, yung pinaka talaga kumbaga kung titingnan natin yung kanilang pre-trial brief is yung prayer nila for the court to dismiss right away yung impeachment allegation. So, why would you ask the impeachment court to dismiss right away, knowing that that is not even a co-option for the Senate sitting an impeachment court? The Vice President is being defended now by one of the most respected law firms in the country, a reputable law firm. And they know for a fact that, dismissing outright these charges is not even an option for the Senate. It only goes to say that, going back to their appeal, kung meron talagang actual, substantive, specific explanation to counter or to not only deny, but even to supply counter evidence on certain allegations under the articles of impeachment, they would do so. Not to pray to the court to dismiss it outright. Kasi this is the opportunity, going back to their issue na they will answer the allegation at the proper forum. Balikan po natin yon. Hindi po kami ang nagsabi nun. Sila po ang nagsasabi nun that they will only answer these exact allegations at the proper forum. Now is the time. Now is the time. Please present us your evidence. Please present us contravening evidence and explain to the people saan napunta yung pera ginamit sa confidential funds. Bakit yung salin hindi tugma doon sa nakukuha mong income, no? Bakit ano yung explanation mo doon sa pagtatreten sa nakaupong presidente at sa kanyang unang ginang at sa former speaker. So these are the things that the country would always go back to, demand answers to these allegations. Unfortunately, ang kanilang sagot, i-dismiss nyo na lang yan.
Last na lang po, sorry. Meron po bang witness ang prosecution team to corroborate the claims of Ramil Madriaga?
Ay, sige kayo
po. Meron po bang witness ang prosecution team to corroborate the claims of Ramil Madriaga?
Currently po, Ma'am Ross, we don't preempt what would be the discussion in the pre-trial conference. The reason why it is not open to the media, it's because we also be conscious. We have to also to be conscious about the safety of the potential witnesses. So right now, we cannot give you a straight answer. This is part of the discussion in the pre-trial conference. We will just wait for the final list of witnesses that would be accepted by the court or would to be presented by the prosecution to the court.
Siguro po, to add na lang din po, because we do not want to preempt the strategy of our public prosecutors, but it is noted that in our pre-trial brief, meron pong corroborating witnesses na maaari pong ma-present. And again, we have reserved the right to present additional witnesses as necessary. Ito rin po ay the same right na in-exercise ng defense team, and it is normal sa isang pre-trial brief and in a pre-trial conference. We will look forward na lang po kung ito po ay exactly as stated yung sa sinabi na purpose, pero for now, we'd like to reserve comment para po hindi mapangunahan yung public prosecutors.
Dahil birthday ng katabi mo, Ma'am Rose, sabihin ko na lang to sa iyo. Whatever would be the number and the personalities that would be presented as witnesses to corroborate material or testimonial evidence, that would definitely be indispensable to proving to the court that our allegations are correct, not only correct, but can already be proven right.
Salamat, Coach. We now acknowledge Gab Lalo from Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Sir, ma'am, first question lang po, follow up dun sa tanong ni Ate Rose. Do you think the defense team is still seeking dismissal of the case? Considering na parang nag-provide naman sila ng evidence, nag-provide sila ng may mga stipulations, parang they're preparing for a trial din naman.
Well, listen, ladies first.
Sa tingin natin, standing pa rin yung prayer nila, no, which is that they're seeking the dismissal essentially of this case, which again we don't agree with, and we say na wala pong basehan sa rules or sa constitution na valid yung ganong klaseng prayer. And kailangan pong maging mapagmatsyag yung mamamayan sa ganong basa at gusto nating pagiging faithful ng process doon sa Constitution. So, sige, how do we interpret that may submission sila sa pre-trial brief and then may appearance sila sa pre-trial conference, although again, hindi po present si VP Sara Duterte, just her authorized representative, in contrast doon sa kanyang earlier pronouncements that she is ready and willing to appear and even present her evidence in court, the proper court. Ang sa atin, given nga po yung pagbasa natin ng pre-trial brief and then yung arguments in the pre-trial conference ng legal defense team ni VP Sara, they're just going through the motions, which is that may deadline, merong required appearance, hindi pwedeng sabihin na they didn't comply because they're there. But if you look at the substance of the pre-trial brief, again, we look at it and it says that it's just general denials ng mga allegations as provided in the articles of impeachment. Nakalagay din doon, walang independent contravening evidence, yung kanilang side, yung kanilang totoong answer, kumbaga, which would say na makakapagbigay explanation sa taong bayan sa mga tanong natin. So, ano yung gusto nating mangyari therefore moving forward in the trial proper? Kailangan talagang yung mamamayan, tuloy-tuloy yung pagkalampag para sa pananagutan. Because as it stands, it is not being answered in the pre-trial brief. It's not being addressed in the pre-trial conference. So in the trial proper na ilang mga hearing dates yan, kailangan pong malabas pa rin yung sagot.
It's not about complying with the requirement or the directive of the impeachment court, in this case the pre-trial conference, that it would be satisfactory for you to attend and be present for the defense. It's also how you can offer the impeachment court your substantive counter arguments to contravene the evidence presented against your client or against you. Very, very logical. This is the perfect opportunity for them to explain to the court and to the public. Please, it's a form of respect then if they come to the court with all their ammunition ready, meaning to say their arguments ready. For the court to also to have a way of balancing between the allegation, the evidence against your explanation, and your also counter evidence. So in this case, it's not even our observation. It's in their pre-trial brief, praying for the court to dismiss this case, banking on their earlier pronouncement and question, and also opposition to the charges, their claim, their contention, which is basically a procedural objection. We are way past over that stage, and the people does not want to bank on the procedural questions and objection. What the people wants and deserve is for this impeachment court to continue, proceed, and then magkaroon po ng closure. So, I think hindi lang ho natin yun observation, yun po mismo yung napapaloob sa kanilang pre-trial brief ng depensa.
Sir, when you say na parang they're still seeking the dismissal, is it through the Supreme Court? Para bang ang gusto nila ma-forfeit yung
It's when you talk about impeachment proceeding, it's only the Senate has that exclusive power to try and decide. You cannot go anywhere else. There's no appellate court where you can actually review and ask to review the judgment of the impeachment court. It's only the Senate has that sole exclusive jurisdiction to try and decide impeachment proceedings. So, very clear po yan. Hindi po ako abogado, andito po si Kong Rene. She can correct me if I'm wrong, but our interpretation as layman, because this is all for the average-minded people, na ang Senado lang po ang may kapangyarihan at may eksklusibong kapangyarihan para litisin at mag-decide pagdating po sa mga impeachment complaints.
Spock Zia is very correct, no, sa kanyang interpretation. Yung idadagdag ko na lang, and ito po yung nangyari sa Duterte versus House of Representatives, for example, ni-raise ni VP Sara Duterte yung question ng whether or not there was grave abuse of discretion doon sa mga certain acts, well, during that case, no, at the House of Representatives, and possible na kung may hindi po nagustuhan si VP Sara Duterte sa goings on ng trial proper, ay pwede pong iakyat niya sa Korte Suprema para i-contest yung specific acts ng Senate if ever. Pero ayaw po natin mangyari yon dahil gusto po natin na at every step, the Senate and all parties observe due process of law, no, observe the rules and regulations provided in the Constitution tungkol sa paglilitis, no, at pagrespeto ng mga karapatan ng mga partido dito sa impeachment court and trial, at sa punot dulo, ma-exercise po ng Senado yung sole and exclusive authority po nila to try impeachment cases as provided in the Constitution. Yun naman po yung pinanghahawakan natin, kaya challenge po natin continuously, no, yung ating mga government agencies, institutions, including the Senate, na panghawakan yung authority nila provided in the Constitution. And of course, to follow all steps as provided in law so as to avoid that kind of Supreme Court challenge.
For my last question po, kanina po yung sa pre-trial conference, parang merong mga nagsabi po na nagkaroon daw ng konting tension at sagutan between the prosecution and the defense. Si Attorney Michael Powa also sort of confirmed it, pero sinabi niya na hindi naman daw tension kundi parang disagreement on a particular matter. Has the prosecution team confirmed this to you, sir and ma'am?
Well, usual naman po na ata nangyayari yan sa mga pre-trial conference So of course, when you have unang-una first time ito magharapan po ng depensa at prosecution. So I think normal naman talaga ho yan yung mga ganyang disagreements, no. That's why you have the pre-trial conference to simplify kung ano yung pwedeng mapag-usapan, anong i-admit, ano i-contest ng bawat panig para ang impeachment court ang magde-decide kung ano yung magiging parte sa pag-uusapan sa trial court. So I think what I can tell you that is that both camps, both the prosecution and the defense ventilated their position, and they're decent enough to even if there are disagreements, which is normal, but they're decent enough to proceed further to the process of allowing the impeachment court to discuss about the evidence and the counter evidence by both sides.
Ang gusto ko lang din pong i-emphasize, no, successful yung nangyari today dahil nagsimula na po yung mga processes leading up to the trial proper. So, ito nga yung hinihintay ng marami, yung pre-trial conference. So, ito yung unang harapan ng dalawang partido. That tension, no, dahil iba yung pinanghahawakan yung mga argumento, that is normal. And moving forward, no, tutuloy-tuloy yung proseso ng pre-trial, no, hanggang it concludes, we go to the trial proper, and then tutuloy-tuloy na yan hanggang matapos yung proseso ayon sa prinsipyo ng due process and even yung nakalatag na rules and regulations in the Constitution. So, yung ganyang tension, that's normal, but what we'd like to emphasize is today, we're happy to note and hear that nangyari po yung pre-trial conference.
Ano po yung naging point of contention? Sorry, follow-up lang po. Ano po yung naging point of contention? Bakit nagkaroon ng discussion between the two parties?
So, I can't say for ano yung mga iba't iba na mga naging points of contentions, but I bet, no, maraming points of contentions yan dahil sa pre-trial brief, no, iba yung proposed stipulations ng both parties, iba yung issues nila. So, of course, kung haharap na sila doon sa clerk of court na magtatanong o alin dito yung adopt natin, meron po silang arguments na ipuput forth for their versions and not the others. So, normal po yun. In a pre-trial conference, I myself had the opportunity to be able to ventilate in cases that I've handled in the past, no, in pre-trial, na i-defend yung proposed stipulations or issues and yung lists natin as per the pre-trial brief. So, inasahan naman natin yon, and hindi naman po natin nakita na irregular yung ganun.
Let us always remember that the default character of a trial is that both sides do not agree on substantial issues, di ba? Adversarial na sila, conflicting na yung kanilang pinaninindigan at pinipresenta sa korte. So that's just the default character of how regular court proceedings happen. So what is important, sinabi nga ni Kong Rene, is what is important is that the House prosecution team was able to present to the court yung mga gusto nating i-present na base po doon sa mga ebidensya na meron tayo, at na we're confident that this evidence will be tackled and will be also be open to the public in the actual trial that will happen on July 6. Sana mangyari na. And secondly, what is important is gumugulong na po yung institutional accountability mechanism ng ating konstitusyon. Yun ang pinaka-importante at yun ang dapat na nating tutukan, at yun naman talaga yung gustong malaman ng ating taong bayan. Gumugulong na po yung accountability mechanism ng ating konstitusyon.
Thank you, Gab. From Net 25, Eden Santos is now recognized.
Yeah, we belong. Good afternoon po. Clarification lang po, yung pre-trial brief or conference, palamang po yung nangyari kanina, tama po ba? Pre-trial brief or conference pa lang naman po yung nangyari kanina.
Tama po yun.
So wala pa po talaga yung stage ng bloodbath sa impeachment, tama po ba?
Well, sila naman po yung nagsasabi ng bloodbath na yun. Hindi naman po natin yung sinasabi. So, in-expect po natin, since na may bloodbath, ang description, hindi naman talaga dugo. Pero ang understanding po natin doon ay malakas po ang kanilang ebidensya para pabulaanan yung mga ebidensya ng prosecution team. Pero
So,
hindi
yung-
yun ang nakita natin.
So yung pong prayer to dismiss yung impeachment against BP Sara kanina na inilatag po ng defense team ay legal strategy din po yon, tama po ba yon?
Legal strategy, pero alam naman po ng depensa na yung dismissal nung kaso ay hindi po choice or hindi po preference or hindi po option ng Senado ayon sa ligang batas. Na kailangan lang po, the only way to probably can use dismiss is for the only way to do that is for the court to reach judgment. It's either to acquit or to convict.
So to clarify lang din po, yung sinasabing prayer to dismiss, that's found in the answer. So hindi po siya nasa pre-trial brief na sinubmit days earlier or even ventilate at the pre-trial conference. So and again, yung stance natin dyan, kung babasahin yung Constitution and yung rules, wala po doong sinasabi na pwedeng may motion to dismiss na gawin. Ang sinasabi lang po, magtutuloy-tuloy ang paglilitis at pagkatapos po, both sides present their sides, magkakaroon ng decision point ang Senado, convict or acquit.
Kanina po nabanggit ni spokesperson Adjong yung hindi pa naman to yung for conviction dahil hindi pa naman po halos nagsisimula yung trial. Kanina po nagsabi si Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian na ang nasa Constitution ay 16 votes pa rin po to convict kung sino man yung accused sa impeachment. Ano po yung inyong
Yun naman po talaga ang nakasaad doon. Ang House prosecution team optimistic at confident po ang House prosecution team base po sa ebidensya na ilalatag nila sa korte, and that's actually the magic number that the House prosecution team would work on to get the 16. Pero meron po kasing debate ngayon may emerging po na school of thought when it comes to appreciating the number required by the Constitution in order for the Senate to be responsive in addressing or in acting on an impeachment complaint where the Senate will be sitting as the judge. Kasi currently po, 22 sa ngayon, yung active na po pwedeng lumahok at maging huwes ng mga senador. Dalawa po doon, unfortunately, ay sabi po sa Avellino versus Cuenco jurisprudence ay walang kakayahan ang Senado para pilitin o masecure ang kanilang boto. I think ngayon po may mga ganong legal opinions na lumalabas. But that is not something that the House Prosecution Panel would wish to push, no? Kasi sabi nga ng ating lead prosecutor, she does not entertain making it as a formal request before the impeachment court. These are just legal opinions that are now coming up because of the current situation that the Senate is now facing, no, in terms of the number of active members na po pwedeng lumahok sa paglilitis po sa pangalawang Pangulo.
Thank you po.
Salamat, Eden. Marian Enriquez from TV5. Happy birthday.
Thank you po. Just to clarify po, Kong Zia, Kong Rene, you mentioned, you admitted na may tension po, heated discussion. Kindly, lang po, ma'am, describe paano ba yung heated discussion, nagkataasan ng boses, nagkasigawan po ba between the defense and the prosecution panel?
Rather than tension, I think normal adversarial proceedings yung nangyari, which is that may disagreements on points na dapat pag-agrihan in a pre-trial conference, which is yun nga po yung proposed stipulations, statements of issues, etc. So wala naman pong ganong pagtaasan ng boses, etc. Normal adversarial proceedings po yung alam nating nangyari.
So, nagkasagutan lang po, kumbaga. May na-mention po si Kong Ridon, one of the prosecutors. He said na isa po dun sa mga issues ni raise ng VP camp dun sa kanilang pre-trial brief is yung issue po na wag payagan i-admit yung mga ebidensya na hindi po kasama doon sa Zabalya and Cabrera complaint. Is it among those po na pinagdebatihan po kanina?
So far for now, syempre, ongoing yung pre-trial conference. We can't confirm yung exact proceedings as it is happening, no? But nonetheless, no, yan po ay isa sa mga critiques na narinig na natin, hindi lang po from the camp of VP Sara Duterte, but even in the House Committee on Justice hearings, no, that strand of thought, no, or argument came up, and may sagot naman po yung House Committee on Justice doon sa ni-raise yun na concern, which is that, no, yung citizens complaint na pinanggalingan ng articles of or yung ng pagsisimula ng impeachment proceedings at the level of the House, yun po ay parang kick-off point or starting off point para i-ventilate ng House Committee on Justice yung ebidensyang sinumiti sa kanya, or even yung magiging mapuput forward pa na iba pang pieces of evidence that can be incorporated in the articles of impeachment. So, hindi naman po 1:1, no, yung complaint and yung articles of impeachment, specifically empowered yung House of Representatives, and in particular in this process, no, yung House Committee on Justice, doon sa mga naging paggampanya ng hearings and yung issuances na ginawa po niya.
Well, personally, to be honest with you, I am not privy to the discussion during this pre-trial conference, which is, I think, nagko-continue pa rin. What we can tell you is that these are matters that are expected, no? Of course, ang defense would be contesting kung anong mga ebidensya ang ipapresent, kasi this is just a state where in the stipulation of facts, pag-agreehan kung ano yung ko-contest nila. So sa ngayon, babalikan ko lang, the court decided to request both the defense and the prosecution to instead submit their comments, the stipulation, no, of facts, and then provide the impeachment court, so that it would be much easier for the court to smoothly facilitate the pre-trial conference, so that we can actually reach a stage where there would be an actual impeachment trial, no? But as to hindi nagkaka-agree or ano yung substance ng hindi pinag-aagrihan, I think any position that the prosecution might present to the court, which to the defense would be substantial to corroborate material or testimonial evidence, would definitely, for me, would definitely be opposed by the defense as part of the strategy. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, these are just matters that are expected and usual in a pre-trial conference.
But ano pong tingin niyo yung ganito yung strategy nila na even yung ebidensya na nakalap nga po ng Justice Committee, they're trying to limit, restrain na maipresenta po ito ng House Prosecution Panel. Ano po yung tingin niyo? Though kanina sinabi niyo na nga po na lata, no? Parang tunog lata yung pre-trial brief. What more pa pag makikita natin to sa trial? This early, gusto na nilang
I think it validates yung finding nga natin na hindi seryoso at hindi sineseryoso at ninamaliit yung proseso ng impeachment, no, and accountability measures in the Constitution and in law. Dahil naiintindihan naman, a plain reading of the Constitution and the House rules would suffice na sabihin natin na empowered yung House Committee on Justice to conduct investigatory, clarificatory hearings tungkol doon po sa laman ng complaint, no? And from there, mag-take off ng questions na pwede pang i-explore at i-consider ng members doon sa pagtutuloy-tuloy ng pagtingin whether there's an impeachable offense or not. Ano yung evidence supporting that allegation or kung wala, 'di ba? And to say now and to reiterate na hindi naniniwala sa ganong klaseng authority or may pagtingin na hindi sang-ayon sa rules yung ganong authority despite that there being a plain reading of the text would show you otherwise, validates again yung ganong pananaw, no? Ano yung belief natin sa mga institutions that forward these accountability measures, yung batas na nagsasaad kung ano yung mga ito, paano to sinusunod din ng partido mismo. So yun naman din po yung pinapa-emphasize namin tuloy-tuloy, no, in this accountability measure in particular, yung impeachment. Gusto natin matapos siya sa paraan na naaayon sa due process and yung rules and regulations. And readings outside it, sige, pagdebatihin natin. Pero kapag na-thresh out na siya, natapos na yung debate, sana nire-respeto natin yun.
Well, una, meron naman even sa trial na meron naman silang allowed naman both camps to have a reserve evidence, no? Even what witnesses within certain number of days. Kaya nga may pre-trial kasi para ilatag na doon kung ano i-introduce na ebidensya, testimonya at witness ng prosecution team, no? The same case with the defense. Ako iniisip ko dito kasi tanong mo is anong ganitong class strategy nila, no? Pupunuin nila ng motion o objection technicality. Kasi pag wala talagang counter evidence na may presenta ka or may explain, ang tendency is questionin mo yung technicality. So, it will, sabi nga ni Congresswoman Rene, it will only validate yung earlier observation natin at nandoon naman sa kanilang prayer for the longest time na wala talagang maipresenta na explanation sa publiko. Kasi, if for example, there is a substantial, reasonable explanation to counter such allegations, that would be a perfect opportunity for the defense to not only accept this, but an opportunity for them to belie the accusations in an open court. No, I would expect much technical objections would arise in the coming days, because that would only explain that they don't have that explanation that they can provide to counter the evidence presented by the prosecution.
So yung nature po nung hindi na pagkasundan, technicalities. About technicality.
Well, you could say that, no? But sabi ko nga, well, I cannot, again, I was not there. I wasn't there. We were not there in the pre-trial conference. But coming out with all these updates, no? It's really more on about not the substance, but technical. Because if you go back to the pre-trial brief of the defense, sinasabi nga natin, there's no substantive new information or explanation that would counter the evidence of the prosecution. And the only, I think, avenue for them to air their defense, their side, is to dwell on technicalities. No? So that is just my observation and my personal position on the subject matter.
Dagdag ko na lang din po yung doon sa na simula na sagutin ni Kong Zia, no, na yung pag-raise again ng technicalities, kung iisipin natin ano po bang compounding effect nito, no, perhaps delay, no, and ang kailangan pong maging maingat ng mamamayan at this point in time, kung paulit-ulit na nire-raise yung technicalities that have been threshed out in other fora na, or even in a different trial date, or even in a different pleading, pero pinagpipilitan pa rin ng ulit-ulit, we can see possibly that yung impeachment trials na nakita natin in history, this one can be longer, no? Yung maging challenge din is how do we continuously ensure attention to the processes, na engaged yung citizenry, binabantayan lahat ng mga nangyayari, at every time na pwedeng may delay, ay may response yung mamamayan. Siyempre, the House Prosecution Panel will be ready at every turn na gusto nating walang delay, no, at tuloy-tuloy lang yung pagsagot ng bawat partido doon sa mga points or articulated issues na kailangan sagutin para malaman natin sa punot dulo kung may impeachable offense na guilty or not guilty ba si VP Sara. So, kaya kailangan hindi yung general rebuttals, rather again the answers that we have not found in the pre-trial brief, and tignan natin kung may ganong klaseng handling ba in the trial proper.
Sorry, last na lang po. Ilang days po yung inihiling ng House Prosecution Panel to present their evidence? And earlier, Kong Michelle Jokno said ito raw po yung trial of the century. How significant po is the fact that the respondent is a sitting vice president and a potential 2028 presidential contender?
Well, what I can tell you is that it could probably, again, I think mga nasa 30 session days, no? Would you confirm that?
To review the pre-trial brief of the prosecution, unlike po the defense pre-trial brief, ay wala pong naka-stipulate, no, na specific number of days. Faithful tayo na kaya nating i-thresh out yung mga arguments as necessary habang the process goes by. Although, yung sa defense nga po ay meron pong specific request for meron silang 30 trial dates. 30 trial dates na hinihingi. And kung ipa-plot natin yan, dahil kung magsisimula ang trial every July 6, tapos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sa isang month, no, ilan yan? 12 give or take, ganyan, or 10, ilang months yun, no? So, nasa 3 months, diba? 3 to 4. So, kailangan nating magbantay, no, if ever.
Ang position lang naman ng House Prosecution Team is it would be a speedy trial. It will not drag on like with the unnecessary delay na magkaroon na ng judgment ang impeachment court at enough time para mapag-usapan at may latag ng House Prosecution Team yung kanilang ebidensya.
Amenable po ang prosecution panel sa 30 trial dates or almost 3 months?
Well, we haven't discussed that with the House prosecution team, but what we can tell you is that the position of the House prosecution team is that it should be a fair trial, impartial, at the same time the number of days kung saan pag-uusapan itong mga ebidensya ay enough para malaman ng taong bayan yung may lalatag na mga ebidensya under the articles of impeachment.
And just to clarify, yung 30 trial dates ay yung hinihiling po ng defense team to present their evidence pa lang. Tama, di ba? Sa kanila pa lang po yun. Thank you.
Salamat, Marian. We will now go to Janice Capanti of GMA Online for her questions.
Hi, hello sir. Good afternoon po. Do you have witnesses po na listed witnesses din ng defense, and may I know ilan?
Karamihan ng listed witnesses ng defense ay yung listed witnesses din po ng prosecution. Meron din pong general description from each concerned agency na pwede daw po nilang at any time during the trial i-summon, or during their time or for presentation of evidence, i-summon to support the allegations as contained in their answer and to rebut the allegations in the articles of impeachment. Ganun po yung style nung pag-describe ng mga witnesses na gusto nilang i-present. Either halos mirror ng pinresent ng prosecution and may general description lang na sinasummon sila as witness dahil i-rebut yung allegations in the articles of impeachment. Then meron pong pagdedetalye na or at least 5 witnesses from this agency or this group to corroborate the answer or provide rebuttals to the allegations in the articles of impeachment. Puro po ganon. So, kaya po natin nasasabi na parang tunog lata yung nakikita nating pre-trial brief dahil inaasahan natin na may explanation kung bakit mo sinasummon tong witness na to, bakit from this agency, and even ano yung ipoprovide niyang evidence or counter allegation para masabi na hindi po totoo yung allegation na yan sa articles of impeachment. Wala pong ganon. And so sa atin hindi naging substantive yung dagdag ng pre-trial brief. Kaya we're wondering now, paano kaya yan sa trial proper? And anyway, kapag sinasummon as witnesses yung na-present na during, hindi lang ng House Committee on Justice, pero yung nakalagay sa prosecution and prosecution's pre-trial brief, kayang-kaya naman pong i-cross-examine ito ng other party. So, ito talaga yung oras para magpahayag sila ng additional witnesses. Unfortunately, hindi po yun ang nakita natin.
Siguro baka si sir na lang dito. Anyway. Meron po ba kayong, balik na rin ko naman, meron po ba kayong witness na maipe-present before the Senate Impeachment Court who actually received confidential funds from the OVP or DepEd? And how many are they? Kahit hindi na yung name, sir, siguro number. Kasi given the amount of the confidential funds involved, siguro parang kung isang tao lang ang makaka-receive as against many individuals, parang baka meron lang kayong masabi, sir, na you actually who could say na I was asked to be Mary Grace Priatos and I received that. Meron ba kayong ganong caliber of a witness? Thank you.
Alam mo, sa totoo lang, gusto kong makilala sino si Mary Grace Piatos. Well, that's just part of the strategy. What I can tell you is that the number of witnesses that the defense will present, including the personality, would be closely connected with the evidence that we have and the charges as contained under the articles of impeachment. Lahat po ng papresenta ng House Prosecution Team ay makakapag-support ito. Mako-corroborate po niya yung mga ebidensya na ipapresenta na naayon naman doon sa mga complaints ng articles of impeachment. Yun lang po yung pwede ko masabi sa iyo. I cannot guarantee you specifically the name and the person kasi again that would also be the directive of the impeachment court in order to maintain the safety and security of these witnesses. Remember, we'll be discussing not only the importance of this impeachment trial, but this is highly sensitive issue because it involves the second highest official of the land. Pero ako, ang sasabihin ko sa iyo, gusto kong malaman at saka gusto kong makilala at makita si Mary Grace Piatos.
Sir, kahit halimbawa, but safe to say ba...
Kung meron ba talaga na Mary Grace Piatos,
Sir Catola, safe to say ba na your witnesses will include individuals who actually received the confidential fund? Kasi Ramil Madriaga, I think, was the same, di ba? Sinasabi niya, nakuha ko yung confidential fund and I gave it to certain people. Meron ba kayong witness na ako mismo na-receive ko? Yung
I think it's on the part of the defense, no? If, for example, the defense would present that such person do exist, no? If they cannot present an individual with that name, then the explanation would be that the result of that would be that there's no actual person, and that's actually the allegation of the House Prosecution Team. Na itong mga pangalan, as testified also by experts, forensic experts, on, yung mga experts on signatures, di ba, sa specimen, said that it's actually signed by one and the same person, yung mga nagkuwang mga samples. So, kung tatanungin, the allegation is that these are not only violative of the joint circular as far as the confidential fund is concerned, but at the same time, the accusation is that this specimen acknowledgement receipts were signed by one and the same person. That the allegation as part of that is that wala talagang possible na tao na Mary Grace Piatos and wala talagang possible na tao na Kokoy Villamin na sinabi naman din ng PSA na wala silang record na mga ganitong pangalan. So I think that question is directed to the defense to provide the court with the personalities or identities that they can actually prove that merong Mary Grace Piatos. Kaya nga ako, excited din ako kung meron silang may produce na Mary Grace Piatos at Kokoy Villamin.
To add na lang din po, no, dahil ayaw din nating i-preempt yung mga strategies ng prosecution panel sa kanilang pag-handle ng trial proper, for now, ang sasabihin din natin is the same what Kong Zia said, which is that this is a question that has been long-standing at nasa burden na side ni VP Sara Duterte na sagutin. No, it's been years on her court, and hanggang ngayon hindi pa niya didribble back dahil hindi pa rin niya pinapakita at sinasagot kung sino po ba si Mary Grace Piatos. At marami po siyang opportunities from the 19th Congress para ibigay yung sagot na yon. Unfortunately, hanggang ngayon, wala pa rin. So let's see kung finally mapoproduce ba talaga si Mary Grace Piatos.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Nasel. Next is Judea Bernardo of D8TV.
Good afternoon po. I just would like to ask your reaction lang po or statement, maybe as a member of the House and as spokesperson po of the prosecution team. Senator Panfilo Lacson yesterday said po that according to their consensus, they are eyeing Senator Cheese Escudero to preside as a Senate President. And as we all know po, last year, he remanded back the articles of impeachment to the Congress, House of Representatives. Are we confident that this time he will be impartial? And yun po.
The good thing about this current impeachment proceedings in the 20th Congress is that it's moving forward. And that's the attitude that we want also to embrace, no? Looking forward. And so what happened in the past belongs in the past. It's already water under the bridge. That's a separate impeachment discussion altogether from the one that we are now discussing, which has already taken jurisdiction by the impeachment court. And so whoever's will sit there as a presiding officer, that is an internal decision by the Senate, and we maintain our respect to our co-equal branch, that they have their independent they have the institutional independence to resolve internal matters, especially in this case that it involves the issue on impeachment against the Vice President.
Attorney. Well, I want to maintain my confidence and I want to believe that Senator Chis Escudero, if ever, no, he will be fair. To clarify, right now, there's no issuance yet of kung sino po yung magiging presiding officer. So far, what we know publicly is merong pronouncements from senators of ano yung tansya, pero nothing official as of yet. So, ang sa atin naman, we followed each and every step as necessary in the process of impeachment, and tuloy-tuloy yung pagsiwalat ng proseso para makamit natin yung day in court. No, we're confident in all those steps. So therefore, dapat wala na pong balakid sa pagtutuloy-tuloy ng trial.
Follow-up na lang po. If the defense team, the camp of VP Sara, continues to ask or appeal for the dismissal of the impeachment, and this continues all throughout po the impeachment process, is this an advantage po on the prosecution team? Will it be possible po as well to shorten, or do we have any legal remedies para po mas mapaiksi yung impeachment trial and not reach the estimated month po until September?
As long as nagpo-proceed naman po yung impeachment trial, asking or continuously asking for the motion to dismiss should not require a separate legal remedy. No, if ever, it should be resolved at the impeachment court, no, kung saan yung may faith tayo sa House Prosecution Panel na hawak yung mga constitutional rules, Senate rules, the different parts of the law to state, no, that there is no basis for asking for a motion to dismiss, and to handle it effectively na nagtutuloy-tuloy tayo doon sa meat of the impeachment trial, which is that looking at the evidence and knowing na magpapalitan ng mga arguments, defenses yung parties, at magsasamon ng witnesses to testify on what they know and the evidence, documentary evidence they present, etc. So lahat po yun yung inaasahan nating mangyayari. Kahit ilang beses sabihin na gusto nilang mag-motion to dismiss, ang kailangan lang po, we stay true to the process, which says no, na wala pong puwang yung ganong request or prayer in an impeachment trial.
The Senate cannot decide if they don't, for example, they don't subject this evidence and the allegations under the articles of impeachment to an open trial. Tsaka we are confident that the Senate understands this. And so whatever is the strategy of the defense, if they think that they will continue on appealing before the impeachment court for dismissal, that's their business. But the question is, would that actually reinforces the strength of the prosecution's allegation against the Vice President? Yes, it will. And yes, it does. Kasi it only speaks about their not only not ready but not having enough explanations to counter the allegations as contained under the articles of impeachment.
Thank you po, Kongs.
Thank you, Judea. Please proceed with your questions, Annalise Soberano of Bombo Radio.
Kongs, good afternoon po. Dalawa lang po yung tanong ko, pero pagsamahin ko na lang po. Based po sa mga statement ninyo, hindi sineseryoso, minamaliit ng kampo ni Bibi Sara ang proseso. So, sa ngayon po, may nakikita po ba kayong attempt mula sa depensa na patagalin ang proseso? At naniniwala po ba kayong sumusunod ang depensa sa layunin ng pre-trial process? Thank you po.
Well, di tayo papayag no sa tactics or strategies that ought to and will have the effect of delay of the impeachment trial. Ang gusto natin, no, matapos yung proseso, magkaroon ng closure yung mga mamamayan doon sa mga burning questions na taon na nating tinatanong. Hanggang ngayon, wala pa ring sagot. So, ano po ba yung makapagbigay confidence sa mamamayan sa atin na masasagot yung mga tanong natin, no? Kapag may nakikita tayong substantive answers o hindi general denial lang, na yun po yung pinupoint natin na gusto nating makita para makitang seryoso yung pagtugon doon sa mga tanong. Kung paulit-ulit po kasing hindi po na ganun lang, that can lead to delay. Pero again, hindi po tayo papayag na mangyari yun. Well, so far, ang nakita natin today, they appeared at the pre-trial conference. They submitted that pre-trial brief and they were at every stage sa pag-lay down ng proposed stipulations, ng statement of issues, and now sa marking, nandyan naman po sila. So I can say na successful, yung procedure of having a pre-trial conference. Pero again, iba pa yung substance of the matter, yung substance ng brief, which should say more about their legal strategy rather than yung matter of showing up. But again, no, in an impeachment process, it's not just about showing up. It's about saying, no, answering what matters. No? So kung hindi po natin sinasagot or wala po tayong tugon doon sa mga tanong na bumabagabag sa mamamayan, no, nasaan yung confidential and intelligence funds of 400 million plus? Ano yung explanation for the unexplained wealth of the billions that passed through accounts ni VP Sara and her husband, and yung ibang mga assets, millions of worth na hindi po declared sa SALN? Ano po yung answer kung bakit at the dead of the night nagkaroon ng press conference and during that time ay may sinabi na threats against the lives of people, and these are not just people, no, that's the president, the former speaker, and the first lady. So yun po tinatanong natin. So gusto nating makita, marinig yung sagot during this impeachment trial.
Dadagdag ko lang, yung in this case kasi willingness in complying are somehow different. No? Yes, they're complying with the notice and or directive of the court, but the question is, are they really willing to provide the court with an explanation? Yun ang tanong. Bakit wala ang explanation but walang specific na counter arguments, contravening evidence to belie or to, challenge the allegation of the prosecution as contained under the articles of impeachment? Nakita natin, hindi siya sapat para sabihin natin na meron na talagang willingness to really offer their explanation to the public and to the impeachment court. Yun ang nakikita natin, na observation natin at this point in time.
Salamat, Anali. Isa Bendanyo Mali from DCWB.
Magandang hapon po, Kong Zia and Congresswoman Rene. Sa ngayon po kasi medyo hati yung opinyon ng ating mga kababayan at kahit na mga eksperto kung sakasakali po na magiging presiding officer si Senator Chis Escudero. Like ito pong sa isang interview po, sinabi ni Professor Jean Encinas Franco na may bagahe siya, si Senator Escudero. Yung issue ng forthwith noong nakalipas na Kongreso at saka syempre yung flood control issue na nakakabit sa kanya. Para sa kanya, ang pinaka-importante na mag-preside sa impeachment, hindi whether abogado o hindi, kundi yung may integridad. Doon naman po kay Attorney Paulo Panelio, na alam naman po natin na supporter po ni VP Duterte, ang kanya pong matingin yung pong paglipat ni Senator Escudero sa bagong Senate majority sa gitna ng mga haka-haka tungkol sa kanyang plunder charges ay nagdudulot ng pangamba na baka hindi ito maging patas at gamitin yung kanyang ability upang paboran yung kampo. Your thoughts po?
Well, una, these are opinions of different people, no? The stand and the position of the House prosecution team is that we will comply whatever would be the directive and whatever would be the decision of the impeachment court. That would also include the decision of the Senate exercising their exclusive right to decide who would be their presiding officer in an open trial. So these comments and these opinions on certain member of the Senate does not reflect the substance of the charges and the evidence that the prosecution would present to the impeachment court. So we respect the decision of any individuals challenging the personality of any of the members in the Senate, the way that we also respect the decision of the Senate should they arrive on who would be the presiding officer in an impeachment trial.
But sa bahagi ko naman, I think fully prepared yung House Prosecution Panel to deliver the evidence, whoever sits as presiding officer. So, may paniniwala tayo sa capability nila, may paniniwala tayo sa ebidensya that has been speaking for itself for some time now. Ang kailangan lang talaga natin, day in court, no? And continuously, the presiding officer, albeit sila ay magro-rule on the different objections and ways by which that questions can arise and objections can arise. The challenge of the people has always been there. I want to believe for now that he will be fair.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Isa. We will now recognize Rapi Tima from GMA7.
Mas mapapadali po ba yung trabaho ng prosecution pag ganun pa rin yung estilo ng defense? Puro generalization at puro rebuttal lang?
Well, hindi ako abogado, pero kung ipa-apply natin sa regular na paski sa barangay man lang, 'di ba? Sa barangay dispute, no? Mas napapadali ma-resolve ba kung halimbawa yung isa ay puros lang general denial at wala silang maibibigay na counter na ebidensya para pabulaanan yung mga akusasyon ng kabila. So again, if that is their strategy, then that's their business, but ultimately they have to really defend the Vice President and explain to the people what really happened with the confidential funds, what really happened with the SALN, bakit ganito yung mga hindi na ipapaliwanag sa taong bayan saan napunta yung pera. So ultimately, yes, to give you a straight answer, that would definitely boost the charges or the allegation of the House prosecution team as contained under the articles of impeachment.
Ang dadagdag ko na lang din po, well, hanggang dulo, ang inaasahan natin ay totoong sagot. Kung walang totoong sagot, paano natin pangahawakan yung general denial na hindi totoo yan? May limitation po yan. Pag sinabing, hindi totoo yan, pero wala kang po-provide na substance kung bakit hindi totoo yun. No? In a court of law, sa pagtitimbang niyan, may bigat yung sinasabi nating allegation, tapos i-prove mo yan, at wala kang ibibigay na counterweight na para masabing hindi actually totoo yun. So yes, no, sa lohika lang po, it is to the detriment of VP Sara's case that there are no affirmative defenses being provided.
Just a quick follow-up. Pero at the end of this, at the other end of the spectrum, sadya po kaya ito dahil di na talaga nila sasagutin yung mga allegations, and they will at the end of the trial, they will rely on the number of senators that are allied to them para ma-acquit ang VP.
So if that is the case, then actually it validates our earlier position that they do not take seriously the impeachment trial, and they rely on if they are relying on numbers, then that only speaks about how they think the Vice President is excused from even applying the accountability mechanism of the Constitution. So, kung seryoso po talaga na itong usapin ng impeachment trial ay pananagutan at eksplanasyon sa publiko kung saan napunta ang pera nila. Remember, ang pera po pinag-usapan dito, hindi po personal na pera ito. Personal pera po ito ng taong bayan. Kung ganun ang attempt nila at ganun ang gusto nilang ipaiwatig. Number one, tama ang aming obserbasyon na hindi talaga sila seryoso. Pangalawa, wala talaga silang isasagot at wala silang maisasagot. Kaya iniiwasan na lang nila ito. Kaya ang inaasahan na lang nila ay yung kakampi nila. Halimbawa lang, no, mga kakampi nila na mga senador, which actually is the very issue of the very issue and of accountability mechanism, because that is exactly the opposite of respecting the Constitution. Because it speaks about culture of impunity. I don't need to explain to you what I have or what I don't need to explain to you these charges. What is important is that I have, I have the political pressure to excuse myself of all these charges, which basically is the very definition of impunity.
Thank you, Rapi. Red Mendoza from Manila Times.
Good afternoon po, mga kongs. Ito muna po, number one, may comment po si Attorney Edward Chico, noted legal commentator, and I'm quoting his Facebook post dito. Parang tanga si Luistro. Yun daw 16 vote threshold to convict the VP should be reduced to 15 kasi daw 22 lang daw magpa-participate na impeachment trial. Ang basis niya ay Abilino versus Cuenco ruling, which is not applicable in this case. That decision pertains to the issue on quorum and relates to regular business of the Senate as a legislative body and not as an impeachment court. He even said na even if we resort to the liberal interpretation of the said provision, the only way we can reduce the threshold is when a senator ceases to be a member. And if it only happens when he dies, resigns, is expelled as a member or appointed to some government office. Your thoughts po doon sa sinabi ni Attorney Edward Chico na sinabi na parang tanga daw si Congressman Luis of her words, not his words, not mine.
Yeah, let me begin by saying that those words are shouldn't be uttered by a lawyer to a fellow lawyer. This is exactly why we keep on saying that we can discuss about matters, even if we disagree, but please remain to be civil and remain to be respectful of the words that we would use. That's the first, and you can quote me on that. The second is that Chairman Luistro does not make it as a legal canon that the Senate would have to follow. That is her interpretation based on the practical and the current situation that the Senate is now facing. Because the Constitution wants a Senate that is functional, that is responsive to the current situation. The Constitution wants the Senate to be functional in a way that actually can actually exercise is constitutional function and duty-bound directive, no? So I think it's not only Chairman Luistro who shares this opinion, but some other legal luminaries also came out with this position. Now, whether or not they agree with this opinion, it's a matter of debate. But I guess the Congresswoman Luistro came out with that position because what she thinks and what she actually adheres to are the opinions of legal luminaries that gives the Constitution power to adjust to the current situation. The Constitution should be dynamic. It should go hand in hand with the experience of man by way of implementing and applying it to the current scenario that we are having right now, which is basically, nobody can argue that two of the sitting senators are way beyond the coercive power of the Senate, meaning that their vote in an impeachment court, once they decide on rendering the decision, will not be possible simply because of some legal obstruction or legal problems that they face. No? Secondly, even if they do allow to vote, how can a sitting judge derive into a conclusion, a sound judgment, without even physically examining the evidence that will be presented by both the prosecution and the defense. Saan ka nakakita ng isang huwis na tinatry yung isang kaso na wala siya? Paano siya magre-render ng kanyang decision? So that's the practical, and unfortunately, nobody wanted the Senate to be reduced from 24 to 22 members. Nobody wanted that to happen, but it happened. And how can the Senate exercise its exclusive power by way of really responding to the current situation right now? That's where Chairman Luistro is coming from, to make the Senate functional, to make it, more relevant and responsive to the current situation now. Since impeachment trial is an exclusive power of the Senate, how can the Senate fully function and render sound judgment? Number two, it's not only the impeachment. If you have treaties that the Senate has to concur, that's an exclusive power of the Senate. How can you concur treaties if you cannot even derive the absolute majority of members to vote? Hindi lang kasi impeachment. Other exclusive powers of the Senate granted by the Constitution, how can be able to have a functional Senate if you are strictly complying the conventional interpretation of the Constitution without even adjusting it, no? That's actually the interpretation of Chairman Luistro. So I think, and I appeal to all the officers of the court, you are legal people. You represent the structure and the foundation of this government. We are a country of laws and not of men. And I appeal to them. It's time to reintroduce civility in public discussion and avoid using derogatory terms. Please have the decency to engage in public discourse with civility, modesty, and respect to one another. Even if we don't disagree, even if we don't agree with matters with the national concerns or matters that are important to us.
To add, I echo the sentiments of Kong Zia Alonto in calling for civility in this debate. No, this debate is natural dahil po may mga developments that now ang nangyayari, hindi na po makumpleto yung 24 ng Senate. Now, I think kapag tinatanong si Kong Jinky Luistro, the chair, and even kami ay nagiging mga natatanong ng ganitong questions, we run the full gamut of the academic discussion, lalo na dahil si Kong Jinky ay mahaba yung kanyang legal experience. Again, si Senator Bato is in hiding despite the fact that he showed up once and hanggang ngayon hindi pa rin po responsive kung nasaan na. And then may isa pong si Senator Jinggoy Estrada is facing a 90-day suspension. It's natural to have these debates. So now it's a matter of how to handle these debates. And syempre, may knowledge din tayo ng institutional decisions of the Senate. For example, when Senator De Lima, who is now one of the prosecutors here today, several times during her tenure, while she was unjustly imprisoned, asked to participate, whether via voting or being physically present in a limited capacity or even online participation at every turn, hindi po siya inaalaw na gawin yun. So, may ganun po tayong mindfulness ng debate and ng decisions noon when we talk about how to deal with this process now, na noon, bagamat hindi impeachment yung hinaharap, ano nang effect sa magiging impeachment ngayon? Yun lang po.
Okay. Second question, kasi may naglabas na statement si Attorney Ferdinand Topacio, the deputy spokesman of the PDP, saying na they view the statements of Congressman Joel Chua na pagiging confident about the supposed strength of the four articles of impeachment, while in the same breath saying that the outcome of the trial will depend on the presiding officer of the impeachment court to be ludicrous, impertinent, and self-contradictory, therefore reflective of the character of the entire House prosecution team. And he also said na while while Kong Chu is entitled to be as confident as he wants us to be, history teaches us that anything or confidence without anything to back it up is meaningless, citing yung kay Aguinaldo and yung sa World War II. And he ended, Atty. Topacio ended with, it would be more in keeping with decorum and delicacy if the House prosecutors would just, his quote, put a sock in their mouth, so to speak, and do their jobs when the trial begins. They should take heed of the saying that a loudly gurgling stream is the most shallow. Your thoughts po?
Edi wow.
No comment po dahil hindi po as relevant dito sa press conference which is about the pre-trial conference po. Thank you.
So you're saying na hindi irrelevant si Atty. Topacio because he's the spokesperson of the PDP Laban?
You cannot force us to comment on something that, that's our comment. My personal comment is edi wow.
Okay. Last na lang po, may release ang Okta Research na survey saying na only less than 2 out of 10 Filipinos or 19% said that 19% of respondents only believe na evidence ang magbabase doon sa impeachment trial. 45% are skeptical, 49% are skeptical or they don't know, 32% no. What's your thought about the survey?
Well, that's the reason why we will have to have the open trial so that the people would know the evidence and will also be given the picture, the whole picture which they deserve to know. That's exactly why pinupush natin yung immediate trial para malaman po ng taong bayan kung ano yung nilalaman ng mga ebidensyang to.
And our additional role is to explain the processes exhaustively so that karamihan, lahat tayo ay maging aware sa ins and outs of the impeachment. So again, ang call po sa mamamayan ay maging mapagmatsyag sa proseso, sa mga sagot, mga tugon na binibigay ng mga dalawang partido. Tapos tayo, let us be politically participative, politically active in this process.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Red. Before we end this press conference, we invite our resource persons to share their parting words.
Una, nagpapasalamat po tayo sa bagong liderato ngayon ng Senado dahil tuloy-tuloy na po ang impeachment pre-trial conference na ito po yung magiging signal na magkakaroon na po tayo ng actual na trial po sa darating na mga araw. So nagpapasalamat din po tayo sa ating media friends sa pag-cover nitong press conference namin ni Congresswoman Renico. Nais ko lang po again mag-appeal sa ating mga kababayan na habang pinag-uusapan po ito sa pre-trial conference, make sure po na tayo po ay attune tayo sa mga pangyayari nitong impeachment na to dahil para po ito sa ating mga kababayan, para po mabigyan ng explanation kung ano po yung nangyari sa kanilang sa pera ng kaban ng bayan at para po mapatatag po natin ang ating konstitusyon. So again, marami pong salamat sa pagpapaunlak niyo po sa amin ngayong araw na to. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
A few parting words. It's unfortunate that VP Sara Duterte is not present in this pre-trial conference. So asahan po natin na sa trial proper, makabawi sana si VP. So present po sana sa all trial hearing dates, that will be July 6 onwards, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day until magkakaroon ng July 27, hindi po magkakaroon ng hearing to give way for the State of the Nation address, and then again 3 p.m. onwards. Maraming salamat po sa coverage ng ating media friends. Marami pa tayong beses na magkikita dahil marami pa po tayong developments na kailangang respondihan. So sana po tuloy-tuloy tayo sa proseso ng pananagutan hanggang sa katapusan na makita natin na due process and the principles of accountability ang manaig. Salamat po!
Mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para sa mga susunod na video updates. Maraming salamat po!